The man in room 1046. A chilling, unsolved mystery. He checked in alone. No luggage, no real name. Just a comb, a toothbrush, and a story that ends in blood. Room 1046 would be his final stop. But who was he? Why did he suffer? And, perhaps most chilling of all, who was Don? Tonight, we pull back the veil on one of the strangest and most unsettling unsolved cases in American crime history. A tale of lies, surveillance, and a silent scream behind locked doors. This is the death of Artemus Ogletree, once known only as Roland T. Owen. The stranger arrives January 2nd, 1935, Kansas City, Missouri. A young man, estimated to be in his 20s, walks into the President Hotel. He signs the guest log under the name Roland T. Owen and requests room 1046. He brings no bags. Hotel staff notice his odd appearance, a visible scar above his ear and a deformed cauliflower ear. He's dressed well, but his eyes, uneasy, darting, like he's hiding or expecting something. Bellboy Randolph Probst helps him up. Inside the room, nothing. No clothes, no suitcase. Just a comb, a brush, and toothpaste. The door closed behind them, and with it, any trace of normalcy vanished. Behind closed doors, the maid, Mary Soptic, begins her routine cleanings. But room 1046 is different. Owen is there, silent, still, and the room is almost completely dark, shades drawn. One dim lamp flickers. He tells her not to lock the door. His friend is coming soon. When she returns with towels at 4 p.m., he's fully dressed, lying in the dark. On the desk is a note. Don, I will be back in 15 minutes. Wait. Creeped out, Mary leaves. But her unease has only just begun. The next morning, the door is locked from the outside, but Owen is inside. He speaks on the phone as she cleans. No, Don, I'm not hungry. I just had breakfast. He repeats it, almost like he's being coached. The voices and the blood. Later that day, she hears two male voices inside. She knocks. A deep voice replies, "Who is it?" She explains she has towels. "We don't need any," the voice says. But there were no towels in the room. That night, another guest reports loud male and female shouting from down the hall. But there was also a party in room 1055. So many sounds, so many people, but no one sees the violence. Something is wrong. 7 a.m., January 4th. The phone in room 1046 is off the hook. Bellboy Probst is sent to check. From behind the locked door, a faint voice says, "Come in, turn on the lights." But the door is locked. No one lets him in. He assumes Owen is drunk and leaves. At 8:30 a.m., another bellboy enters with a passkey. The light from the hallway casts a long shadow. Owen is naked, lying on the bed. Phone stand knocked over. Stains darken the sheets. The bellboy resets the phone and walks away. He doesn't notice the blood. The horror in room 1046, 10:45 a.m. The phone is off the hook, again. This time, Probst enters the room. And what he sees chills him to the bone. Owen is on his knees, just inside the door. Elbows on the floor, hands cradling his head. Blood is everywhere, the bed, the walls, the ceiling, the bathroom. I turned on the light. I looked around and saw blood on the walls, on the bed, and in the bathroom. Owen is barely alive, tied at the ankles, at the wrists, at the neck, beaten, tortured, skull fractured, chest stabbed, lung punctured, and yet, when asked who was in the room with him, he whispers, "Nobody." He says he slipped, hit his head on the bathtub, a final attempt to rewrite his own story or protect someone else's. He dies shortly after. The man with no name. Police find no belongings, no weapon, no ID, no record of Roland T. Owen anywhere. Eventually, his mother identifies him from a magazine article. His real name is Artemus Ogletree. He was just 17 years old. And then, something even stranger happens. An anonymous call is made to the funeral home. "I'll pay for a proper funeral. He can't be buried in a pauper's grave." The money arrives, wrapped in newspaper. The flowers too. "Love forever, Louise." But no one ever comes forward. Who was Don? A maid heard a female voice. A woman's fingerprints were found. 3. A jilted lover. The day the funeral was announced, a woman called a newspaper. "He got into a jam." Another man said, "He cheated on my sister. He got what he deserved." Was Don her brother? Was Louise the sister? Was it revenge or something darker? The box. In the early 2000s, a mysterious phone call is made to a researcher who had studied the case. The caller claims they found an old box with newspaper clippings and something else, but they never said what it was and never called back. Artemus Ogletree entered the President Hotel under a false name. He left in a coffin. Nearly a century later, no one knows what truly happened in room 10-46, only that it was brutal, that it was personal, and that somewhere, someone out there still knows the truth. The letters from beyond. But one piece of this mystery refuses to sit quietly in the shadows. Months after Artemus Ogletree's death, his mother, Ruby Ogletree, began receiving letters. 3 of them, typed, cold, impersonal. Her son, she believed, was alive, traveling in Europe, recovering, living a life he never got the chance to live. But Artemus didn't know how to type. The tone of the letters was unlike him, filled with slang, lacking warmth. They were mailed from Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, cities far from Kansas City, far from room 1046. And yet, each one was a cruel performance, a forgery of life, written by someone who knew just enough to fake a son's voice. Or worse, someone who once knew Artemus intimately. Who sent those letters? A killer mocking the mother of his victim? A desperate accomplice trying to cover their tracks? Or something else entirely? And then came the final horror. A phone call, a man's voice, calm, controlled. He tells Ruby her son had saved another man's life, that he's gone now, but she needn't worry. The line goes dead. Just like that, the mystery deepens. It's one thing to disappear, another to die brutally in a locked hotel room. But to keep speaking from the grave, that's something else entirely. What happened to Artemus Ogletree didn't end with his murder. It continued through letters, calls, and silence. And maybe, just maybe, it's still not over. The man in the dark. They say the truth always finds the light, but some stories, they don't want to be found. Room 10-46 wasn't just a crime scene. It was a stage. A man walked in, a ghost walked out, and the silence he left behind has screamed for nearly a century. Who was Don? Why did Artemus never cry out? Why lie about who he was, even as he lay dying? Was it fear, loyalty, or something darker? something no one would understand. We know he was tortured. We know he died slowly. We know someone paid for his burial and signed it with love, but we don't know why, and maybe we never will. Here's the part that chills me the most. The killer, whoever they were, walked away. No arrests, no trial, just a whisper in a hallway, and a locked door no one could open in time. But someone out there, someone walking the same streets we walk, someone with a name, a past, and maybe a family of their own, knows. They know who was in that room. They know what happened, and they chose to keep it a secret. So tonight, as you turn off the lights and lock your door, ask yourself this. If a man can vanish in plain sight, if a name can be borrowed, a life erased, and a mother lied to for months, what else are we missing? What secrets are hiding just beyond the door? What do you think happened in room 10 of 4-6? Leave your theory in the comments. And remember, not every locked room stays that way. Subscribe for more dark mysteries.